dance and paint. So let the pinks and blues and the yellows go and let the hype on the vibe and the
Welcome back to the Now Morning Show. Of course, our collaboration with the Art Society of Trinidad and Tobago continues. And this week, our resident artist on set is Judith Theodore, who is not just an artist, but I'll say a multifaceted creative. And this morning, we're going to learn some more. Good morning, Judith, and welcome.
Good morning, Natasha.
How are you doing this morning?
I'm great, thank you.
It's a pleasure to have you with us on the show this morning. As we get ready to, of course, go through the art, just a quick check in case you missed it. The Now Morning Show this Monday edition, we already started off chatting with Venture Credit Union. And right now we're speaking to Judith Theodore, who is not just an artist, but is also a playwright, author, and actress, and was a prize recipient from a very early age, speaking about from primary school. We're looking forward to learning how that has greatly impacted Judith's career and what it means for the artwork that we have on set this morning. All right, Judith, so now that we have you back with us, share us a little bit about your journey, who you are, and what inspired you to become such a creative.
Okay, as you mentioned, I got a prize in primary school. I looked at something on the wall and I did it, and teacher was fascinated and I got a prize for art. So I continued, doing little artwork and thing, and then when I get a little older, I took a course with Studio 66. But before that, I was doing art on my own. And then I took a course with Studio 66 and improved a little more. Took courses with extramural, UV extramural, and, keep improving all the time, doing different courses. So I never really stopped. But I wouldn't say I do art every day.
Yeah.
But periodically, I would do a piece or something, So anything else you would
Well, so it's quite interesting because you're a playwright as well. You're an author. You're an actress. And I'm sure that there are many other things that you are that are just under the surface. Do you think that has contributed to your journey as an artist particularly? And if so, how?
Yeah, because for instance, some of the paintings, floral paintings, I'm very interested in floral work, right? So when I'm a member of the Friends of the Botanic Garden, so we would go out in different places and so on. I would take sketches of flora, and then paint that. So other things that I do influence the paintings, right? So I don't know if you want to speak about one of the paintings that was influenced by.
Before we get to that, though, because I know that there's a lot of work to go through and we will be able to learn your influence. One of the things you mentioned is you like to paint florals. Is it one of your favorite things, or do you have a particular artwork that you prefer or a particular piece that you prefer to create?
Anything floral, I am interested in it because I have plants, right? And I'm interested in those kind of things, right? So, if I want to see that, for instance, one of the paintings is of an orchid.
Okay, and this is a painting that I believe is, well, there's an orchid in the center,
Yes.
but you know what? Let's start with the one that's right next to me here.
Right, so that's a heliconia. So I was speaking about visiting when I was a member of the Friends of the Botanic Gardens. I'm still a member. So we were in the, I don't want to call it bushes, right? But, so I took a picture of something like that, right? So that is what you would see coming out in my work, where I go and visit somewhere and I take a picture, or when we are in the gardens, I would take a picture and do things like that.
So this is what you did with this piece here?
Yes, that's a heliconia.
And how long did it take you to create this piece?
Well, this is a chalk pastel.
Okay.
So this would be a little longer. It will take a little longer. Because you have to get all your chalk work smooth and finished and all of that. So that took a little while.
So is it a case of you start the piece, you move away, and then you go back to it?
Yes. I would hardly stay a whole day on one piece because you have other things to do, right?
Of course.
So it depends on the work and the time you're doing it.
And is there any particular reason you opted to use chalk pastel for this piece?
Not. I just thought that it would enhance this work.
Okay.
Chalk. Or perhaps I had that in front of me and I used it at that time. I don't really pick what I'm going to use with what, but I thought this would be suitable for this work.
Definitely. Now, speaking about this work, let's move to the one that's next to it, because this is quite an interesting piece. It's very detailed and it looks as though you have numerous mediums on it. What is the name of this piece?
All right. So this is Orchid Smiling, right? And it was, I had bought an orchid.
Okay, so we're speaking about the orchid piece, but let's quickly go to the one that's on the camera right now, which looks to be a midnight robber.
Oh, well, that right, that is a sailor.
Okay.
So that was done for the rotunda. It was done for the rotunda. The theme there was, the theme there was story, style, spectacle of the sailor.
Okay.
Right? So I chose that piece as a collage. I used paper collage. So I had to do a lot of cutting, looking for a lot of pieces of paper that would suit and it's sailor in the savannah at sunset. Right? So I don't know, you know how Trinidadians like to procrastinate.
Of course.
So when I saw, I got to the team, and I said, well, what would I do? I want to do something different. And then I decided to do a collage. It took me a long time gathering the pieces, doing everything to get it. So eventually, to make the deadline, I had to do a all-nighter.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, to get it all together.
And it's quite interesting because when you look at the piece, seeing it on camera doesn't do it justice, but you're also seeing some shadows coming out there.
We were talking about the sailor, right? Right. So which was the paper collage.
Right.
Right. So now you're speaking about which one now?
Oh, no, I'm still speaking about the sailor because one of the things that's interesting, as you mentioned, would have been the paper. So it looks as though we're seeing landscapes from Trinidad and Tobago that you would have cut out. Is that correct?
All right. So for that, you use like magazine pages and so on, when you get the colors that you want, right? So like for the grass in the savannah, I use many different magazine pages that you cut to suit looking like, to make it look like grass. And then like for the sailor hat, you'd look for things so that was something like a spaceship.
Okay.
And you look for things that would bring out what you want. So you had to do a lot of cutting of different pages, looking for particular colors.
So let's now go on to this next piece, which is clearly very dear to your hearts. This is the orchid, correct?
Right.
And what is the name of this piece?
All right, so this is Orchid Smiling, Orchid and Me. Right, so I had bought an orchid, and it was like on my table, and I said, well, better I paint this orchid, right? And so this is an oil painting.
Okay.
Right, so this is a large oil painting. It took a while. Right, to do this one. And I'm saying it's a good thing I did this because the orchid died.
Oh, no.
So now I have something to remind me of this orchid that I bought.
So how long did this take?
It took a while. It took days. It took
days?
It took some days to do that.
So let's go on to this next piece here, which appears to be a portrait. Can you give us the story behind this piece?
Oh, this is Beryl McBurney. Right. So this also was done for the rotunda, and the theme for that was her story, our legacy.
Right.
So we had to, different people chose different people, right? But I chose Beryl because Beryl at one time where I live, she used to pass in front of where I live all the time to go to and from her home. And my first acting classes were done at her folk house by Sonia. I took that from Sonia Moores. And Beryl, Beryl is an interesting person, right? So I remember one day we were there doing the classes, and she had some people working there, and something they had done, some young men they had done, and she was kind of displeased, and she said, "Oh, you've lost your dignity." So that is how Beryl would remonstrate to somebody. "You've lost your dignity." So we kind of smiled, but that's why I chose Beryl. A lot of people chose like Wendy and, Calypso Rose and everybody else, but that's why I chose her because I had like a intimate relationship with her kind of way.
Well, it's beautiful to see that you've been able to, of course, immortalize that well in art, which is something that is so beautiful. And this next piece that we have on, this is something I think many can identify with, but also it immortalizes something specifically about us as Trinis. Before you get into the name, though, what area of Trinidad was this painted after?
I'm not sure which painting.
You see, that's the beauty of art, though, because we're all going to be able to look at it and pull somewhere from our memory of Trinidad and Tobago where it was.
So now, all right, so that is down the islands at Gasperi. Went down to Gasperi, and you have to wait on the boat to come back for you. So it was getting late, and she was just sitting there, and so the name of that is Waiting for the Boat. Right? So when I looked, and I took the picture and I looked, I saw in the back had a very nice sunset, So I that is what made me do that painting. I like the sunset in the back, and it kind of was kind of worried, but like this boatman forget us or something.
Been there.
It's getting late, and
Yeah. Now, something that's notable about all your pieces is essentially you've used different mediums for each one. Do you have a preference at all?
Not really. It's whatever, probably at hand or whatever, I choose to use. I don't have really a preference, but I do acrylic too. I don't have any acrylic piece here, but I have to say that between acrylic and oils, I prefer oils.
Oh, okay.
Although
any particular reason
most
why?
people like acrylic because it dries fast.
Yeah.
But I like the oils because it to me is more sensual. You could play with it a little more, not drying so fast. Although it has a disadvantage in that you have to wait long for it to dry before you go on to another, to do something else on it. But still, I like these sensual, way that you could play with the oil.
And we can, we know with the paintings that you've done that you definitely are bringing a lot to life for Trinidad and Tobago particularly.
Yes.
Is it important for you to describe our country in your work?
I do paint a lot of what deals with us. Maybe some of the landscape, flora, persons, different things like that.
So, Judith, before we end our conversation, something that is definitely quite a draw is the fact that you dabble in all sorts of creativity. You have that blessing within you. Many times as creatives, many will be able to do so many different things, but end up honing in on just one in order to perhaps focus, or maybe because they think that that's all that's feasible. Do you have any words of wisdom for creatives who want to really encompass everything that, as you have done, but don't know where to start?
I would suggest do whatever your heart desires, because probably that's why I'm a jack of all trades, master of none, because I like all and I do all. Right? I do write plays, I write stories, I paint, I act, I do everything. Once it comes to me, once it's I'm given the opportunity, I do it. I cannot say that, okay, I'm just gonna stick to just painting, molding, and not write.
Yeah.
If I can't say I'll just write all the time and forget painting. So it's just whatever the spirit moves me to do, I do.
So what's next for Judith Theodore?
Okay, so coming up on the last Friday of this month, there'll be a reading of one of my plays. Well, it would be two plays we are doing, one of mine and one of another person's, Dion. And we had a reading on Wednesday, and these two were picked out from the 5 short plays, and they were going to be put on with blocking, a little bit of blocking, and reading from the script. Also, I'd like to say that while I was not too busy this week, is because I was preparing for my students, my altar students, who will be starting. Well, altar starts back today, but my students will be starting tomorrow. So I was busy kind of getting them all, calling them, making sure they get the books ready for today, because I'm also an altar tutor. And so that's what I have been doing this week one year. So I have not been doing any art. I have not been doing much writing, because I'm concentrating on getting my altar students to be ready for class. My class starts tomorrow, but altar's classes start today.
Wonderful. So that's good to keep in mind, of course, for many who are interested.
Yeah.
And it's good to know that as you continue to grow, you continue to also help others, which is something that is so important. If we need to find you, perhaps social media, telephone contacts, where can we get in touch?
My Facebook is Judith Theodore, and for Instagram, which I just started, and I don't know much about it, but it is JAYARTTHEU. JRTU.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for joining us, Judith.
Thank you very much, Natasha, for having me here.
Of course, it's a pleasure, and thank you for loaning us your wonderful artwork for the week. We are going to enjoy
welcome, and I'm so glad it will be displayed for a week.
Yep, week right here, and hoping that you will enjoy it too as we continue to share it this entire week on the Now Morning Show. Stay tuned. There's more coming up after this break.